Imagine a city of unbridled wealth and debauchery suddenly swallowed by the sea. That's the fate that befell Port Royal, Jamaica, in 1692. Now picture this, it's the 17th century. Port Royal is a flourishing city teeming with privateers and pirates. Its streets are lined with gold and its taverns filled with raucous laughter and clinking glasses. This city, known as the wickedest city in the world, is a hub of prosperity, its coffers swelling from the riches of privateering. Privateering, you ask? It's a form of legalized piracy, where private individuals backed by their government are allowed to attack and plunder enemy ships during wartime. And boy, did Port Royal thrive on it. Its location right on the edge of the Caribbean Sea made it the perfect base for these privateers, and the city prospered. But then, on that fateful day in 1692, disaster struck. An earthquake so powerful it shook the very foundation of Port Royal. The sea surged, swallowing buildings, streets, and people. The city of sin, once pulsating with life, was now eerily silent, its riches claimed by the sea. In the blink of an eye, Port Royal went from being the jewel of the Caribbean to a sunken city, its debauchery silenced, its wealth washed away. The city that was once the heart of the Caribbean was now its ghost, a haunting reminder of the fleeting nature of wealth and power. But how did Port Royal come to be such a notorious haven of wealth and wickedness? Let's delve into its past. In a world dominated by powerful empires and fraught with conflict, Port Royal was born out of Spanish ambition. In the late 15th century, a mere 2 years after Columbus first set foot on the New World, the Spanish established Port Royal on the island of Jamaica. It was a strategic move, positioning themselves in the heart of the Caribbean, a region that was quickly becoming a hub of the New World's trade and exploration. As the years rolled on, this fledgling settlement began to thrive, blossoming into a significant city in the Caribbean. Its location offered a natural harbor, making it perfect for seafaring activities and inevitably a magnet for privateers and pirates. The lure of untold treasures and the thrill of the high seas brought these swashbucklers flocking to Port Royal, transforming it into a bustling pirate haven. But it wasn't just the pirates who saw potential in Port Royal. Trade merchants too were drawn to its strategic location. They sponsored privateering activities, a practice known as forced trade. This symbiotic relationship between merchants and pirates brought wealth pouring into Port Royal, rapidly elevating it to one of the richest and wickedest cities in the world. Its streets were overflowing with gold, silver, and other exotic goods plundered from Spanish ships, and its taverns were filled with the boisterous sounds of piracy's most infamous figures. Yet, despite its lawless reputation, Port Royal was more than just a den of thieves. It was a city of opportunity, where fortunes could be made and lost in the blink of an eye. It was a place where the lines between respectability and infamy were blurred, and where the thrill of adventure was always just a sea breeze away. However, as history would show, nothing lasts forever. But the city's golden age of piracy was not to last forever. Even as the city basked in its wealth and notoriety, the seeds of its downfall were already being sown. But that, my friends, is a tale for another time. At its peak, Port Royal was a city of immense wealth and lawlessness, but its prosperity was built on shaky foundations. In the heart of the Caribbean, Port Royal bloomed into a buzzing hub of commerce by the 17th century. Its wealth, however, was not born out of traditional trade. Port Royal's riches were largely amassed through what was known as forced trade. This was a euphemism for the town's privateering activities, with merchants sponsoring privateers to seize and loot Spanish vessels. Port Royal was a city where the lines between legality and illegality blurred, a place where pirates and privateers were not only tolerated, but celebrated. These sea rovers would return from their expeditions with Spanish gold and goods, making the city richer with each haul. The streets of Port Royal were teeming with taverns and brothels, the city earning itself the nickname Sin City of the Caribbean. But this prosperity was as transient as it was immense. The wealth and lawlessness that made Port Royal so notorious also made it a target. Enemies, both foreign and domestic, had their eyes set on the city's riches. The Spanish, whose ships were frequently looted, were particularly eager to see Port Royal's downfall. The city's decline, however, was not brought about by the sword, but by nature herself. On June 7, 1692, a devastating earthquake shook Port Royal to its core. Buildings sank into the sea, streets collapsed, and within minutes the city was reduced to rubble. The earthquake claimed thousands of lives and marked the beginning of the end for Port Royal. And so, the wickedest city in the world was brought low.
But what became of Port Royal after its fall?
From the ruins of Port Royal, a new city emerged, but the memory of its wicked past would not be forgotten. Out of the ashes of Port Royal, the phoenix that was Kingston arose. The catastrophic earthquake of 1692 was a game-changer, a turning point, and the birth of a new era. As Port Royal sank into the sea, Kingston ascended, quickly taking its place as the new commercial center. The once bustling streets of Port Royal were replaced with the thriving markets of Kingston, the city that would become the heartbeat of Jamaica. However, Port Royal's decline didn't happen overnight. It was a slow, steady descent into obscurity. The once thriving city, revered and feared for its privateers and pirates, slowly lost its luster. The privateers disappeared, the pirates found new havens, and the city that once glittered with gold and silver from forced trade found itself fading into the pages of history. Yet the story of Port Royal was far from over. Like a forgotten melody rediscovered, the 21st century saw a resurgence of interest in the city's rich and colorful past. The ruins of Port Royal, those silent reminders of its golden age, began to hum with life once again. But this time it wasn't the sound of pirate shanties or the clink of stolen treasure, it was the sound of heritage tourism. Today, efforts are being made to redevelop Port Royal, not as a pirate haven, but as a destination for those who seek a glimpse into a forgotten era. The city's ruins are being preserved, its stories retold, its legacy honored. Port Royal is being given a second chance, a chance to rise from its ruins and reclaim its place in history. But this time it's not as a city of sin, but as a city of redemption. A city that, despite its tumultuous past, continues to captivate and intrigue. A city that serves as a constant reminder of the impermanence of wealth and power, the unpredictability of nature, and the enduring allure of a good old-fashioned pirate tale. Today, Port Royal stands as a testament to a time of pirates and privateers, a city that lived fast and died young. The story of Port Royal is a tale of ambition, wealth, and destruction. But what can we learn from its history? In the heart of the Caribbean, Port Royal once stood as a beacon of prosperity, a testament to the resourcefulness and audacity of its inhabitants. Founded by the Spanish in the late 15th century, it quickly grew into a bustling city, a hub of commerce and a sanctuary for privateers and pirates alike. Yet it was this very prosperity, born out of forced trade and privateering, that led to its eventual downfall. In the late 17th century, an earthquake of catastrophic proportions struck, reducing the city to rubble and shifting the balance of power to Kingston. The tale of Port Royal serves as a stark reminder of the transience of wealth and power. It's a story that underscores the pitfalls of unchecked ambition and the unpredictable nature of life itself. But there's more to Port Royal than its dramatic rise and fall. Today, it's a symbol of resilience, a testament to the enduring spirit of the Jamaican people. Efforts are underway to transform it into a heritage tourism destination, a place where visitors can immerse themselves in the rich history of the Caribbean. The legacy of Port Royal is a complex one, interwoven with tales of adventure, greed, and redemption. It's a story that continues to captivate us, offering valuable lessons about the human condition and the ever-changing nature of our world. In essence, Port Royal's story is a reminder of the cyclical nature of history. It's a testament to the fact that cities, much like people, can rise from the ashes, reinvent themselves, and carve out a new identity. And so the story of Port Royal continues, a city whose past is as turbulent as the seas it once dominated. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel for more interesting videos.